Today on Twitter, a tweet happened that had all the artists against AI art dogpiling on someone. And I just want to share this tweet. The tweet is, you have creativity privilege and can't see how the creativity challenged among us could be greatly aided by AI or Gen AI. It is ridiculous to essentially say that because you cannot draw or paint or create, or you're not creative, that's a disability. It's a disadvantage. It is not a disability. I wrote a whole thing and I decided not to post it, but then it came back up with another artist who's a New York Comic-Con person, a New York Comic-Con artist. And you have to apply to get into these things. You have to be important. I looked at their page. It has something like 40,000 followers, something along those lines. Lauren Walsh Art. They replied to this person, creatively privileged. God, these people will do anything to make themselves victims and validate actual theft. Okay, I'm rocking with that, but this is where I do not rock with you. Creativity is a skill that you can learn to improve. It's not innate. It's not God-given. It's not something you were born with. It's a skill. Why are you lying? You're lying. We do this thing. See, this is why I don't rock with artists like that, mainly because it's mainly white people. But I don't rock with the artists like that in the community on social media. I don't rock with them like that because they're snobs. That is a very snobby thing to say. They're elitist. It's a very elitist thing to say. People are genetically disposed to have different talents. And art is one of those things. And there's different types of art and different types of creativity. To lie and say, we're lying to people when we say everybody can draw. That's a lie. That is a lie. Well, what people are trying to say is that you can take a pen and paper, you can take paint and put it on a thing and work at it and hope to God that you get good enough to be considered an artist. But in reality, none of us would like to look at the person who's attempting art point of view. Now, I did a video a long time ago where I stated the top 5 reasons why AI art do not bother me. And it's mainly because I'm used to feeling stole from. I'm an African American. I'm an African. We are the most stolen from people on this planet. Culture, resources, every fucking thing. So it doesn't bother me because I've been feeling like I was stolen from since I was a child. And yes, AI art is a thievery to a certain extent. And you know what? They can't really monetize it. They can't really use it. They can't copyright it. So it don't bother me none, right? But what bothers me is artists like this. Yeah, that is a ridiculous claim that somehow you're disabled because you are disadvantaged in the creativity part of the brain. Yeah, that's a ridiculous statement. But this is what people like Lauren Walsh is doing to these people, these AI artists. First of all, let's get it straight out. AI artists essentially worship us. AI artists essentially want to be us. They're no different from a basketball fan or a football fan who plays football tailgating. They're no different. That's the way I see them. And this is what I see when I hear artists, big artists especially, say things like this. There are people on this planet who can take a basketball, jump 9 feet in the air, 10 feet in the air, and dunk it. There are some people who had to work at that. There's some people who didn't have to. I didn't have to work at it. When I hit 15, I dunked for my first time. Ran, jumped, dunk. There was no practice involved. I just ran, jumped, and dunked it. It was that easy. But for some people have to work at it. I was in school with a guy who was 6'7", who could not dunk a basketball because he could not palm the ball. He didn't know what to do with it. He could not jump even though he was damn near 7 feet. There's some people who are gifted and there's some people who have to work at it. But there are also some people who are never going to be able to dunk a basketball. Ever. Ever. Never. And it's not, has nothing to do with height, because Mosey Buggs was 5'2" and he could dunk. Spud Webb was 5 feet. He could dunk. I think it's 5'6". I think Spud Webb was 5'6". He could dunk. So expecting because those two dudes can dunk don't mean everybody who's that height can dunk. And what these artists are doing, and why it bothers me so much, is essentially slam ball was created for all those black people who want to play basketball but who are vertically challenged and cannot do it. So what these artists essentially is doing is running up to slam ball contestants and saying, "You're not a real basketball player because you really can't dunk. Ha ha, you really can't dunk. You're lazy. That's why you can't dunk. It's because you're lazy. You're not willing to work at it." That's what's happening. That's what you're doing by lying to these people. Everybody can't be a doctor. Everybody can't be an engineer. Everybody can't be a mathematician. Everybody can't be a rocket scientist. Everybody can't be an astronomer, astrologer. Everybody cannot be a psychiatric, a psychologist. Everybody cannot do those things. Because everybody who is born on this planet is born with a different set of genetics that enable them to do certain things and disable them to do others, but disadvantage them to do others. And just because a person could put a little bit of paint on a sheet of paper, put a pencil to put pencil to paper, does not mean they are an artist. And they can do it for 5 to 10 years. They can study. It don't mean that they'll ever be able to be as good as someone like Miss Walsh here. They can work all their lives and never get anywhere near them. And what we're missing here is we're missing the fact that these people don't see, even if they could take a pen and put it up to a piece of paper, what they put on that paper, if what they feel is not art, they don't feel it's art, no matter how we feel like it's art. Just because you can do art doesn't mean you'll ever be good at art. I'm not defending AI artists. I'm not. But what I won't do is watch artists lie. That's what I won't do, especially white ones. I'm not going to sit back and watch you lie. I'm not going to sit back and let you be. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the whole reason AI art became a thing is because we cultivated a culture that allows the stealing of other people's art and culture. That's why it's a thing. It's not a thing because some smart aleck somewhere decided I want to make art without having to ever put pen to a piece of paper. That's not why it got created. It got created because we made it okay to steal from each other. We watch as people stole whole music genres, millions and billions of dollars from whole communities. And fuck out of here with that elitist bullshit. Fuck out of here. You're an elitist and you're a snob. You're lying to these people. Everyone is not created equal. Everybody is not born equal. And just because these people want to use AI art, don't make them fucking lazy. There are artists who can't hold an image in their head. There are artists who, whatever they draw, don't come out the way they want it to ever come out. Are we forgetting about that? There are artists who think using reference is cheating. That exists. When I see, again, I'm not defending AI art. Matter of fact, I tried AI art because I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I wanted to see it. I want to see what all the hype was about. And you know what? I was never able to get the exact images that I wanted from any of the AR programs that I tried. None of them. I was never able to get exact images. Never. Not once. Not at all. Even people who are helping me with prompts, I wasn't able to do it. And I'm proud of my art. I love my art. Well, now I do. I didn't love it about 2-3 years ago. But I love my art. Do I use AI art? No, not right now. But if I needed to picture something in my brain, I might do it. I want to see something. Oh, let me write this down. Let me see what comes up. I see AI art as a tool now. Because being angry and screaming and yelling that this is art theft when none of you were saying that before it became a thing, because art theft has been a problem way before AI art became a thing. And these are the same people who build whole platforms on on fan art, on using other people's IPs and building up their platform and their names on other people's art. Why don't we talk about that? There are artists who are super creative and they can duplicate everybody's style, but they cannot create for their own. They cannot create their own stories. They can't create their own characters. And when they try to create their own characters, they just end up looking like how Deadpool and Deathstroke look. There's copies of one of them. They just look, everything they do is a copy of somebody else's shit, because they themselves don't have the creative bone. While they can draw, they don't have the creative bone to create from that cloud over the top of your head that keeps you going. Now, this is just a rant at this point, and I'm on my soapbox, but I am appalled at people like that. They bother me, because when I got my bachelor's degree and I was a wide-eyed artist coming into the industry, I ran into people, snobs and elitists like that, and it didn't bode well for me. We don't think you would do well here. But you liked my portfolio. The moment we turned on the webcam, you saw that I was black. It was a problem. Oh, okay. People like that bother me, and because they don't want to see things outside of their own views, outside of their own privileges. My art is fucked up and it was stolen, and it's a bunch of stolen art. But if I never heard you say anything about these stolen arts in all these fucking Smithsonian museums all over the world, in the Louvre, if I've never seen you raise a stink about that, stolen artifacts, if I've never seen you talk to your people in Artist Alley about how they're essentially using other people's IP to make money, because that's what's happening. You're taking money out of some. The whole reason why y'all think AI art is ethically wrong is because, one, people will be losing their jobs. People are losing their art and their money. Well, there are artists where you guys are using their OCs and their IPs to make money, and they don't get a cut. I don't see y'all angry about that shit. I don't see y'all arguing about that shit. This is why I don't like the art community on social media, because they're hypocrites. And instead of being real with themselves, what you get is a bunch of people dogpiling people. And while that person earlier talking about being disabled because they're disadvantaged at they're just not artistically inclined to put pen to paper, and because of that, that's ridiculous. But it's even more ridiculous to lie. There's no such thing as equality amongst people. Everybody is built different. Everyone. Nobody's the same, not even twins. Everyone's built different. Everybody got different talents and strengths. And again, just because you could put pen to paper does not make you an artist. And you can work at it for 10 years. It don't mean that that person specifically will still see themselves as an artist or would like anything they did, or would, if they have a goal, if their goal is that they want to draw like Akira Toriyama, they want to draw like Oda, and they try and it never comes out. It don't matter if you think that their art is subjective and you think it's good. If they don't like it, and if their goal was to be Oda or Akira Toriyama or to be any of these great artists, fucking Van Gogh, and if they don't see that result, they're still going to be unhappy. And you're discrediting that because everybody can draw. Everybody. It's not innate. That's a lie. You can't teach creativity. You can't teach creativity. It happens. You can't cultivate it. You can't. You can coach it along. You can give ideas. You can't create creativity. Some people are just creative, and others they're creative in other ways, just not artistically. I hear you guys argue and dogpile AI artists. It's funny watching those interactions go down, but what's not funny is how elitist we are, and how we aided capitalism in doing what, and essentially creating AI art. We aided in that culture, and we refuse to look at it that way because for whatever reason we don't want to look at. I really think it's really just the white ones. I really just think it's the males. That's what I think it is. I think it's them because everybody else on this planet have had things stolen from them or their culture, and they felt that sting. Everybody else. And when I'm sitting on Twitter watching people have fucking meltdowns about AI art, I look in their portfolio and all they're doing is essentially not safe for work. And I look at what a lot of the AI artists are doing, and it's just not safe for work. You are worried because you have competition with people who just use words to create images. It's like you guys lack creativity too, because you know what you could do. Because their art isn't copyrightable. You could take their art and trace right over it and do your own thing. There's a lot of stuff you could do. Oh, you don't like AI artists? You can shit on their whole shit. You can do it because their stuff is not copyrightable. There's no human element. At least for now, there's stuff that you could do. You could take your own art, put it in an art generator, and that's still your art. All you got to do is put a little extra on it, and now that's copyrightable. You guys lack creativity. Like, you lack creativity. The ability to adapt. Again, sitting back and pretending like everybody can do it is bullshit, and you know it. I already said it. Fan art within itself is stealing. And we all do it, especially, and I don't, like, if you don't do fan art and you don't sell fan art and you raise a stink when you see stolen art and stolen culture, then I'm not talking to you. You can be fucking furious about AI art. But everybody else, you're a hypocrite. Your friends steal art, but because they drew it with their own hands, even though it's somebody else's IP, it's a problem. I watched somebody who built their whole platform on drawing Dragon Ball Z corn complain about AI art. Their whole platform is just Dragon Ball Z corn. All of it. I wasn't there in the beginning, so I don't know how they started, but all of it.
And heck, drawing corn of it is a violation of their IP too.
Y'all don't talk about them. You don't say nothing about them when they're doing commissions for that stuff. You're not saying shit.
Well, I think commission's fine. It's when they do merch.
Oh, merch? Oh, yeah, well, it's all ridiculous. That shit's ridiculous. You're stealing people's work for your own benefit. You're doing the same thing AI artists are doing, and you're mad that they just have it. And you're mad. I'm done. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Again, I'm not defending AI art.
Man, I use that shit.
What?
They got some creative stuff in there that I wouldn't been able to visualize.
Yeah.
And I just take it from.
I told them I did the same thing, and it took me. How long did it? Ilsa, I'm gonna interview you. This is my artist for my comic book, Ilsa. When I told you about Midjourney and me paying for the Midjourney, the $10 thing, and you were looking for African body armor, which is almost impossible to find on the internet. How long did it take you to get exactly what you wanted?
Maybe 3-4 days.
How long does it take you to draw one picture?
Depends, 3 or 4 days.
Crazy, right? You gotta work for AI art. You can't just put in Goku smashing Bulma and get exactly what you want. You gotta find the position. You gotta find the angle. You gotta find the right modifiers, body parts. You gotta make sure that the muscles are right. You gotta do all that shit, especially with Dragon Ball, because there's so many ugly Dragon Ball drawings on the internet. So when you try to use Akira Toriyama or Dragon Ball, all of that shit kind of turns out terrible, fucking nasty. Everything you use for Akira Toriyama is fucking bad.
And it's not like I played with it for like an hour. It was several hours of putting in prompts to find the armor that I was looking for. It's not just.
So for them, they're saying that you're lazy. Even though you bought a book of armor, African armor.
Which was like $60. And then any of the other African armors that I want is like in those price ranges too. So I can't afford to look at that shit. And then it's hard enough to find that online without it just going towards Japanese armor or medieval armor.
Crazy. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this interview. maybe we'll do a bigger version of this, because I think there's a lot of stuff that I missed talking about this AI stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff I missed because I use Slam Ball. Remember?
It's not that different from when photography was first introduced, and it was like the artists that draw it versus the artists that take the picture. It's the same argument. You either adapt photography into your drawings to somehow compete, or you just stick with drawings and get whatever business you get from that compared to like people who take photos.
Now that AI art is here, and part of the reason why it's here is because capitalism took advantage of all of us, and part of the reason why a lot of artists did not stand up for themselves, and because they didn't stand up for themselves, they made it easier for AI art to be implemented. Because that shit exists, we might as well just mind our business.
But it also took some years for artists to get that photography was actually useful, because now they don't have to go to location to get the references. You could do the same thing with AI.
But I mentioned that how there's some artists who think references is cheating.
Use AI art as a reference.
There's a lot of stuff you can use AI art for. But obviously, I don't condone using it to sell other. You're not actually. You're just using it to sell, essentially. Come on, man.
I've only ever seen it really backfire is when these billionaire corporations that still don't want to pay people ethically hire those artists, and they get shit on because it turns out their shit was stolen. It's like karma right back at the people that won't pay you ethically.
I hope y'all can hear that.
To humanly draw an image. So, if anything, AI art is just like blowing up in these capitalist spaces because it looks bad and people are calling it out as stealing.
All right, that's gonna be it for this video. I didn't expect it to be 25 minutes. No, I blew up, man. Okay. I just hate this whole this backhanded, we're angry bullshit. But it's fake outrage, and you really didn't give a fuck before the fact or after the fact. You don't give a fuck before the fact. All this stuff, all this art that's been stolen, stolen from indigenous peoples and all types of shit, land, and y'all don't give a fuck about that. You don't. You just want to be able to draw your corn and be paid for it with less competition. That's just what it feels like. Yep. That's what it feels like. Anyway, y'all have fun with that outrage, being asshole elitist snobs. Y'all have fun with that.